This is an exclusive apartment condominium report. And so what I've done here is compiled some information, divided up in different quadrants, and looked at it in different price ranges, different price groups, so that you as a buyer know if it's a good time to buy, and as a seller, if it's a good time to sell. To help make our stats a little bit more relevant to you, I'm going to divide up the city into different quadrants. I'm going to do the inner city, the northwest section, the southwest, and what we're talking is west of Sarcee, because we would consider anything east of Sarcee to be inner city. The deep south, which would be Fish Creek, Chaparral, Mahogany, all of these south areas. And lastly, we'll do the northeast. At the end of the video, we'll go over the whole market so you can compare how your numbers match up with the overall. Okay, so for November, we had 197 apartment condo sold listings, and they were priced between 401 and 407 in the inner city. And the average, that was per square foot, and the average sale prices were, median price was 333,000, and the average price is 358. Now we look at how that compared to the previous month. More sales in October. They were 397 to 407 a square foot, and priced very similar. So market was up slightly, but I would consider this to be about the same as far as sale prices were concerned. Now we'll check out the previous year. Sales up about let's say 30, almost 30 units, 27 units compared to the previous year, and they were priced at 372 a square foot, and compared to 401 this year. So market's definitely up this year. Now we'll look at the inventory supply. Wow, we've got a lot of inventory for condominiums in the inner city. We've got more than a 3-month supply, so buyers definitely have their pick, but the listing prices are definitely higher than where the buyers are expecting. Buyers are buying properties listed at 414 to 417 a square foot. The listings are 446 to 476 a square foot. So that tells you a lot about what's happening. And the pricing, buyers were looking to buy around 345 to 367, and right now it's available 384 to 546. So you can see that there's a bit of pretty big gap between where the buyers are at and where the sellers are asking to get for their condos. So now we'll move on to the northwest section. Now looking out to the northwest, 43 sold listings in November, and they were priced between 318 and 320 a square foot. And when we look at it compared to the previous month, 54 sold listings. So sales down in November compared to October, and the prices, well, the prices were a little bit higher, almost $10 a square foot higher for November than October. And that's probably due to the fact that inventory is declining, and buyers are definitely seeing that it's been a hot market. Now we look at November of last year, $295 a square foot was the median price. At $294 was where the average was at. So prices are definitely up, but not up too much. They're actually up only about $15 a foot. I guess that can make a big difference on a smaller condo. Now we look at the inventory supply. For December, we got 55 active listings, and last month we have 43 sold. So we'll just see what happens this month. You know, December is, can be a fickle month depending on interest rates and where people's heads are at. Sometimes we have a very good December. 338 is where where most of the listings are situated, and 318 is where most of the buyers were at. Now this price isn't too far off, but you can see it would be good to see that the pricing was in a lower month was a little bit closer where the buyers were at. And you can see that the units that are left on the market are, by and large, they're bigger, almost by 150 square feet on average, and they're priced quite a bit higher. The buyers were looking to buy properties downtown at 259 to 277 was the price, and that's what they bought. And we're at 349 to 355. That's a pretty amazing difference between pricing. Now we're going to move to the southwest section. We're talking west of Sarcee, Aspen, these areas, Signal Hill, and so forth. So for the southwest, we had 18 sold listings in the month of November, and you can see that they were priced between 308 and 316. The median where most of the buyers were buying was 308. And interestingly enough, the prices are lower than the previous month, and substantially in some areas here. 17 sold listings for the previous month, and those were priced from between 332 and 322. So prices seem to have dropped there. And I double checked these numbers as well, I was quite surprised to see that. 14 sold listings the previous year, and they were priced at 330 a square foot to 316. So yeah, it's pretty surprising the markets remain the same. And when we look at the inventory supply, 55 active listings in that area and 18 sold. So there's over a little over 2 months supply. Now where they're priced at is between 338 and 341. The buyers are really looking for properties priced between 315 and 324 per square foot. And when we look at the active market, they're quite a bit higher than where the buyers were actually looking. 349 is where the buyers were actually looking, and 355 was the average. And now we'll move to the Deep South. Evergreen, Silverado, Cranston, Mackenzie-Town, all these South areas. Now looking at that Deep South area, 45 sold listings for the month of November, and they were priced between 306 and 312 per square foot, and the asking price was 274, 275, median where most of the buyers bought properties, and they bought them for 272, but not very far off the asking price. Now when you think about the previous month, 65 sold listings, and 309 was the median price per square foot the previous month. So it looks like October was actually, on the median group, was actually better, and on the average was actually it's actually better both on average and median price for October, and even the sales are up, so things dropping a little bit. And when you look at the previous year, 49 sold listings, so it's on par with this particular month, and priced at 283 a square foot and 290. So it's an interesting market out there, that it's gone and done so well. Now when we look at the inventory supply, 88, so about 2 months supply of listings in the market, and they are priced higher per square foot, and they're priced from between 279 and 278 is the asking prices, and buyers are really looking for properties 275 to 274. So there's going to be some people finding properties still in there, but what's available is priced higher per square foot and maybe a little bit nicer and shinier, maybe even newer. And next we'll look at the northeast section of the city. Okay, so looking up to the northeast, 14 sold listings up there, priced at a square footage price on the median was 269.62 and 278.51. So things looking pretty good there. And we look at the previous sales on October, 17 sold listings, so a few less sales, and prices were actually better in November than they were in October. Not by much. It's about the same as far as the market's concerned. We look at last year, 227 was our average price per square foot, or a median price, and our average was 231. So it shows that the market's really, really up there. And 22 sold listings for the month of November. So sales better last year for units, but of course lower per square foot. And people were buying properties mostly at 199. Now they've escaped over that, and that just jumped over that number. Now we look at the inventory supply, 72 active listings. Lots of condos available in the Northeast, and they're pricing these condos at 290 and 288 a square foot, and buyers are really looking between 279 and 287. So there's going to be some properties available to buy, but it looks to me like most of the properties are going to be a little bit higher than where the buyers are expecting to pay. What's left on the market, everything priced between 234 and 233 a square foot, and this is where the buyers are really looking. So there's going to be some negotiating going on if there's any sales up there. So when we look at our total inventory for the city, and this is condos and condo townhomes, we can see here that we don't have a lot to buy under 150,000. We have 10 available and 2 sold. And when we look at this next group, it's 150 to 200,000. We got about a 50% sales ratio. When we go, we got still maintaining 50%. So for the most part, overall, we actually have a bit of an oversupply for condos. Overall, it is still a buyer's market for condominiums in the city, and you can see condos over 1.5 million, 26 available, no sales. So as we go up, it changes quite drastically. Now we look at the total market here, and we're including condos and everything else. All unit sales we had in November last year 2273, and this year 2352. So around 120 more sales overall. And when we look at the median price was 416, and last year it was 403. So we're up a little over 10,000 on the average price. And as we went through the price per square foot, we can see that the price per square foot are up as well. So, and we're up on our average price a little bit. Interestingly enough, 462 last year and 468 this year was our average prices. So we can see here that the inventory is dropping. Last month it was 8,200 listings. Now we're down to 7,300 listings. And last year we had 6,700 listings. So we have more properties available this year than we had last year in November.
Since the year 2000, I've sold hundreds of homes all over the city. I can help you. And remember, as always, commissions are negotiable.